Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. We're in chapter 9 of Sena's Route, which is the last chapter of this is the last chapter for Sena before we get to go down Koyo. And so I had to move my microphone to my new computer, and so if I sound different, I apologize, but I did do a test recording to see what I sounded like, and I think it's pretty close. I don't actually know because I don't really listen to my own videos. I mean, I listen to my own videos right after I record them to make sure that I'm uploading the right video, because the thumbnails that the video creates after I export it, they all look the same. They all show Sena with like a different chapter 7, 8, 9, but it's so tiny that I can't read, and I just make sure that I upload the right one because I did upload a video twice back a year ago whenever I was doing my next life as a villainess. They're like, I think we've already seen this one. I'm like, oh, my bad. Let me upload the right one. And so I just go back and double check now to make sure I'm uploading the right one. I think I'm a little loud though, so I'm gonna turn down my mic just a little bit. I don't want to like be blaring out people while I talk. So I think I hit my mic while I was moving it because actually the gain was up pretty high. And I also have it really far away too because it's a new version of OBS. So I don't know if it's the new version or what, but my voice picks up very quickly with the filters that are on this OBS, even though I copied over the exact same ones. Anyway, let's go and finish Hibiki now. Actually, we're not going to finish Hibiki. We're going to finish Sena, but Hibiki is creepily watching us while we do this intro. His eyes stared at me with a dazed yet fiery glow. Goodness, what's wrong with you? I could only see his head and hands, his lips warped into a twisted smile.
どうして嘘をつくんですか？いるならいるって言ってくれればいいのに。
I don't know if I have any filters on the desktop audio. Let me just double check that real quick. Yeah, I do have a limiter. Okay, just in case we get some crazy person like Nemo that wants to like scream your ear off, he's limited to 8 decibels, so he can't go above that. Anyway. A slumping noise accompanied Hibiki as he entered the classroom. A slumping noise. I stifled a scream that I felt welling up inside my throat.
Yamero!
Hibiki immediately stopped and slunk a depressing gaze back into the hallway. I looked at Sena, who bolted into the classroom.
Itte! Misa-chan!
In the momentary gap to escape Sena that Sena created for me, I forgot to pull up the choices, so give me 1 second. I'm on a really large screen now because my gaming desktop has a very big screen, and so it's actually a breath of fresh air to be playing on a huge monitor again. Alright, this is a save file. So let's save first. And we're actually going to flee the classroom. Thanks for your diversion. Sena's voice jolted me back to reality, pushing me forward and straight down the hall. I just kept running. Trying not to get caught by the presence I left behind me, I dashed down the hallway. Well, I'm going to try to keep talking at a normal pace because it seems like my filter is wanting to close my microphone sound instantly, and I don't want to cut out parts that I say if I say it too quietly, so this is going to be a new experience for me, so I apologize if some of my words get cut out if I get too excited or something. Trying not to get caught by the presence I left behind me, I dashed down the hallway. Finally, I can get out. I didn't spare a moment to catch my breath and reached out to the mirror. I can't get out. The mirror looked unchanged from before, yet it unexpectedly didn't reflect my figure. I felt a cold and hopeless sensation when my fingertips touched the glass. What? Why? Then I sensed the presence from behind me. I have to get out of here.
ミサちゃん、僕だよ。
Sena, what happened to Hibiki?
少しだけ足止めに成功したから、多少の時間は稼げたと思う。そっちは
The mirror's all fogged up. I can't get through. As I frustratedly slammed my hand against the mirror, Sena's face clouded over.
やっぱりそう簡単に逃がしてはくれないか。
He acts like he's worried, but I think he still has a secret part that's glad. Does that mean, did Hibiki do something to the mirror?
一旦ここを離れよう。僕たちがこの場所を目指すのは、響くんも察してるだろうから。
Right, okay. We entered a library filled with countless books. They stood up like trees in a forest. Surely this place would conceal our presence.
ここなら多少はマシだと思う。死角が多い分、響くんが来ても脱出の隙を伺えるから。
Not if he has ears like a hawk. It's certainly much better than a classroom, not to mention there's a door in the back.
でも、ここが彼の世界な以上、長くは持たないだろうけど。
It should be enough for now. After letting out a small sigh, I leaned on one of the bookshelves, hoping it would prop me up. It was times like this where I found myself wishing I was a living ghost again. Unlike Sena and the others, I was made of flesh and blood, prone to fatigue.
疲れちゃったよね。
I'm sorry, I was so nervous before my legs got tired all at once.
ごめんね。こうなったのも全部僕のせいだ。君と会いたいからって、こんな場所に呼ばなければ、こんなことには。
Sena looked at me, deeply apologetic. I simply smiled and shook my head. Please don't say that. I came here on my own volition. If I wasn't able to meet you here, I'm sure I would have gotten myself wrapped up in an even more dangerous scheme to find you.
それは困るな。
Or do you? A bitter smile rose on Sena's face, and he jokingly pinched his own cheeks.
ダメだな。僕は喜んでる場合じゃないのに。会いに来たって言葉が嬉しい。
But I'm also happy. I wanted to see you so badly, Sena. Scary as this may be, I really am glad I came to see you.
やっぱりその言葉はずるいよ。僕に刺さりすぎ。
I know, he's gonna make you stay.
愛を語るにも、まずは脱出だね。ここから出る方法を探らないと。
For a moment, my love for him nearly washed away the tension in my heart. But Sena said now is not the time to think about such things. It seems Hibiki is doing something to the mirror, so I can't escape. I was unable to think of a good idea. Negative thoughts began to creep slowly into my mind.
君が生き量だった頃、神様に目をつけられたから、あんなことになってしまったって言っていたよね。
Yes, that's right. It seemed I was spirited away.
神様の仕業で生き量となったわけだけど、そんな困難をも乗り越えて元の場所に戻れたじゃない。
Just tell him to spirit you away again. Sena nodded reassuringly and continued.
だから今回もきっと大丈夫。二人で乗り越えて元の場所へ戻ろう。
Finally, to reassure me, Sena gently patted me on the shoulder. Of course, he didn't actually pat me, his hand just slipped through me.
ごめん。ついやっちゃうんだよね、これ。
Old habits die hard. Gently placed my palm over his, letting it hang in the air. While I couldn't feel his touch, I did feel something was conveyed between us. Sorry for being so hopeless before. I won't give up, so let's find a way out of here.
うんうん。それでこそミサちゃんだよ。君が生き量の時を思い出すな。自分だって辛い状況なのに、僕が何度君のことを忘れてもめげずに話しかけてくれたし。
Yeah, I'm not good at giving up.
それでも僕は君の諦めの悪さに救われて君に惹かれたんだよ。現状を受け入れてなおあがく力は僕にないものだったから。君はその心の強さを握りしめて これから先も生きてほしい。
Sena, even if I couldn't see him, even if I couldn't hear him, whether years or even decades passed, I knew I wouldn't forget him. And years later, when I eventually died, I would remember him. My future lies not with the living, but with one who's already passed away. Heat built up between our hands. If only just for a moment I could touch him. If I could see his face, if we could talk. Before coming here, that was all I thought about. But after seeing him, my desires only grew. I want to touch you, Sena. The moment those words slipped from my lips, I felt a slight tremor from my pocket. At the same time, I felt a slight warmth emanating from my palm. Ah. What's in your pocket? I quickly shoved my other hand into my pocket. Oh, it's glowing.
どういうこと？確かに今、君の感触が。
I swear this chapter better have like 2 CGs to make up for the lack of CGs we had in the last episode. Pinky and Pinky. Index and forefinger. As if to confirm, our fingers trembled as we intertwined them together. Then when our fingers finally intertwined fully, I felt his heartbeat.
そのマガタマの力？
Yes, I think so. When I met you at the park, I thought its power was totally gone.
おそらくだが、時間が経てば元の力を取り戻すじゃろう。多分。
This makes me so happy. All it took was a little time and the power came back to the stone, right?
君の願いに反応したのかもね。言霊みたいな感じというか。
Yeah, you might be right about that. I want to see you. I want to see your face. It would make me so relieved. I said those things at the time.
まったく。君って子は。
My wish was granted by the magatama. The priest who lent me the magatama told me the god of Skumo's shrine was the one who connects people together. And this magatama is a treasure that was passed down for generations at the shrine.
ならこうして手をつなげるのもまさにご利益なのかもしれないね。手をつなぐ、思いをつなぐ、離れた二つを結び引き合わせる、そんな神様の力かもしれない。
Then in that case, not a save, so we're going to save first and maybe you can reach the real world. If it has the power to make connections, perhaps we could use it to connect the real world and this one to get out of here.
うん、そうだね。僕も同じことを考えていたよ。
Then I let out a huff and untangled our fingers. Aw, I know, right? What's wrong with you?
そんな物欲しそうな顔しないで。僕としても名残惜しいけどね。
But she wants to touch you. Don't you want to touch her too? You were talking about how obsessed with her you were before, and now you're pulling back. You don't make any sense. Alright, maybe you can reach your fans. Maybe you can reach your fans, Sena. They might be able to hear you singing.
そうだね。ひょっとしたらそれもできるかもしれない。でも今はもっと優先すべき使い道があるんじゃないかと思う。
What's that?
離れた二つをつなぐことができるなら、うつしおと異世界を結べる可能性もある。それが叶えば、君だって元の世界に帰れるかもしれない。
You're right. Seeing a faint glimmer of hope, my face lit up.
今気づいたって顔だね。自分のことより僕のことを先に考えるとか、君らしいよ。
Well, I guess because you just told me your story, I was thinking about it, but it's not like I think about you all the time, Sena. I flushed as I tried to explain myself, and Sena childishly tilted his head.
違うの
I know, right?
僕はそうなんだけどな。一日中、大好きな君のこと考えてるよ。
247. I don't think that's exactly how the saying goes. Leave me blush, Sena giggled. But he was teasing me after all. Despite feeling a bit frustrated, I was also happy, and a smile tugged at the corner of my lips. And there he goes, he's backing away again. Sena let out a huff and untangled our fingers. Aw.
そんな物欲しそうな顔しないで。僕としても名残惜しいけどね。
It's too late. You guys are already madly in love.
ここでこうしていて、残った力が空になったら、目も当てられないし。
Yeah, I guess you're right. Judging by the looks of it, I think it still has some power left since it hasn't turned black. Still, I couldn't be sure if it had enough power to help us get through the mirror. The priest said that when he was younger, he would have been able to restore its power on his own. I unfortunately don't have that kind of power.
霊力を注ぐみたいな感じ。
Yeah, I think so. But I don't think you're able to do it unless you're a priest.
どうだろうね。紅葉はあるって言ってたけど。
Oh. Koyo? What?
紅葉がホラーゲームの配信者だったって話は君も知ってるよね。
Yeah, he told me about it.
そのジャンルを選んだのも実は昔から霊感が強くってよく霊を見てたからなんだ。
Really? I had no idea. I wonder if... It could be that Koyo is able to connect the living and the dead with his Mary power. He does have powers no other ghosts do.
彼がいわゆる霊能力者ってやつだからかも。
When I heard the word, I understood.
本人はそういうこと言うと詐欺臭い響きだから嫌だって嫌がるんだけどね。
That does sound like something he'd say.
そんな紅葉に言わせるとさ、確かに霊には力があるんだって。姿なき霊をこの世に結びつける存在力とでも言うべきもの。仮に霊力みたいな力が。
A presence power. As I mulled it over in my mind, I soon felt another presence approach. Is that?
響くんが近づいてきてる。でも逆に考えればチャンスだよ。彼がここにいるってことは鏡の前はフリーなわけだし。問題は道を開けるかがぶっつけ本番になることだけど。
That was exactly it. I then felt the presence make its way to the front of the door.
悩んでる暇はないか。
After muttering that, Sena walked away from me. Is he going to be a decoy? Before I even realized it, Sena was gone. Then I began to hear the two of them speak. Sena's holding him off for me. I have no choice but to go now. Not wanting to waste the chance that Sena had created for me, I quietly slipped away in the opposite direction. I proceeded to exit silently from the door at the back of the library. Being as the mirror was fairly close to the library, I reached it without incident. I took the magatama from my pocket and held it in my hand. Then I gently placed my palm on the mirror. If the power is manifested from words, then please allow me to use this to return to my world. I held the stone tightly in my hand as I wished with all my might. The stone in my hand began to tremble and grew hot. I felt my hand slip gently through the mirror. I did it. My joy was short-lived as I felt my hand getting pushed back by an invisible force. What? Could it be the magatama is... Uh-oh. When I opened my hand, I saw that the stone had turned black. What? Why? You waited too long. That was when I felt someone approaching. From the bottom of the stairs, I saw Sena. The power of the magatama, it wasn't enough.
そのまま持ってて
We need Koyo. Sena came running up the stairs and put his hand over the stone in my hand. What are you doing? Sena didn't answer and closed his eyes. I stared at him, not knowing what he was doing. Then my hand started to heat up, and I looked down at the stone. Back. Away. The color of the stone is... When I looked up at Sena, his face was contorted with pain. Sena? Something's wrong. My stomach churned with nervous anticipation, then... The stone in my hand began to emit a dim light.
僕にも霊力があったみたい
How convenient. I turned my attention back to him. His presence seemed weak, frail. He looked almost translucent. Oh my goodness. If Sena keeps doing this, he'll... I immediately pulled the stone away from him. But when I did so, Sena only gave me a faint smile.
そんな顔しないで僕は大丈夫だから
No, you're not. You're disappearing.
元の世界に戻ったら少し休むだけ何しろ僕はもう死んでるんだからこれ以上に悪いことにはならないよ
Was that really true? Promise me you won't disappear. I never heard of a ghost disappearing, but looking at Sena in front of me, he seemed like he would fade away at any moment. Sena answered me. My goodness. Creepy. I know, right? He's back. I felt a chill run down my spine, and when I looked down the stairs, I saw Hibiki. Sena stood up with his back to me, protecting me.
Misa-chan, 行って
Sena firmly told me to leave, and I glanced briefly back at the mirror. That place beyond the mirror, that's where I'm supposed to be. And I really just leave Sena now. If Hibiki were to attack him, I had no doubt Sena would disappear. I can't leave him, there's no way. I know, right? Stay with him. I walked to Sena's side and faced Hibiki in an attempt to protect him. Oh my goodness. Please, come to your senses. My arms, my legs, my whole body shook. I could barely stand, and yet I refused to look away. My eyes were the only way I could show him just how serious I was.
Misa-chan, 今はそんなこと言ってる場合じゃ
As I spoke, I turned to glance at Sena. I won't leave Sena. He's too important to me. I love him. When I turned my gaze back to Hibiki, he was already right in front of me. The lack of distance frightened me, but I put all my strength into focusing on him. Sena told me, you wanted to bring us together. That was your true intention, right? Ignoring my words, Hibiki's hand continued to extend towards me. You believed in me. That's why you lent me the tools to contact the spirit board. Just then, Hibiki's hand stopped short of touching me. That's why you were so worried about Sena. Hibiki's eyes wavered. I know the real Hibiki. You were thinking about us, and that's why you offered to let us use your world inside the mirror. In his trembling eyes, I saw flashes of the sweet boy I'd come to know. But if you still want to touch me, it's okay. Do as you like. You could take the warmth from me, but the feelings in my heart will not disappear. For Sena's sake, I'll give all I have, and still my feelings will never change.
強く晴れる
I saw a shift in Hibiki's face. His true self was starting to come back. The Hibiki I knew.
僕ごめんなさい
Are you back? I'm so glad. Everything should be fine. Felt relieved and turned around. What's wrong with him? Just then, Sena collapsed on the spot. His presence had grown even weaker, and it seemed he would disappear at any moment. Sena! I desperately went to his side and reached out to touch him, but of course I couldn't. I squeezed the magatama in my hand harder. Please let me touch Sena. At that moment, I was able to touch Sena and wrapped my arms around him. Sena, hold on. What if we use the power of the magatama? I pressed the magatama against his chest. I don't need to be touched by Sena. Please just give him back his power. But the stone did not shine, and I got the feeling no power was returning to him. Could he not get his power back? No. Now what should I do? Unsure of what to do, I merely held onto Sena's upper body. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I'm so sorry. Tears started welling up in my eyes. I'm sorry I was so selfish trying to see you. I just couldn't handle it anymore. I knew there was no use in regretting it now. Sena, had I not fallen for you like this? Tears of emotions overflowed from within me. Why? Why did I do this? Then Sena let go of my body. Sena's voice whispered to me a faded no and shook his head, then...
ごめんね。そんな顔させて。本当は僕の方が言うべきだった。僕は君が好きだ。
This had all been my fault, and yet he was still thinking of my feelings. With a painful look still on his face, he stared at me lovingly.
お互いに言葉も交わせない。君が悲しんでいても涙も拭えない。思いが溢れても口づけすらできない。そんなすれ違いの世界で何十年も苦しみ続けるくらいなら。
Wait. Are you saying it's okay if you disappear? As if to affirm my tears, Sena merely replied with a fleeting laugh. His expression soon became pained again. Sena. With that, Hibiki crouched down next to Sena and placed his hand on his chest. What are you doing?
霊力を込めているんです。僕ができることはこれくらいしか。
Soon Hibiki's face distorted in pain too. Just like Sena's did when he was putting his power into the stone, is Hibiki trying to do the same for Sena? If so, that would only put Hibiki in danger. Hibiki, is there anything I can do? I don't care what happens to me. Hibiki began to open his mouth but quickly stopped and pressed his lips together. He looked lost, and I knew whatever the answer was, it wouldn't be a good one. I told you already, I don't care what happens to me, so please just tell me. Hibiki still appeared uncertain of what to do, but he eventually began to speak.
あなたの力をセナさんに注いでください。彼を思う強い気持ちを込めて。
That's what she did in Kuroha's route when Kuroha was disappearing. Spoilers, if you guys haven't watched Kuroha. Kuroha was... Misa had almost died, and this is in his endings too, so... And Kuroha saved her by using a lot of his power, which was causing him to disappear. And she's like, no, you can't disappear! I won't let you! And she's like, kissed him, and gave all of her power. I think it ended up killing her in the end, but she saved him, and then they got to be ghosts together. Is that what's going to happen here?
魂からの思いを。
My soul? Yeah, she gave her soul to Kuroha in order to save him. I couldn't exactly understand what he meant right away, but judging from his expression and words, I had a vague idea. Thoughts from my soul? Oh, does that mean? I gently grasped Hibiki's arm and smiled back at him. Leave the rest to me. Aw, why is he crying? With tears streaming down his face, Hibiki pulled himself away from Sena. Gazing at Sena, I felt my thoughts and my feelings for him well up inside, then... She did. She kissed him just like Kuroha. Gently pressed our lips together. If I were to convey my feelings for him from the bottom of my soul, I knew this was the only way. I could feel the heat of my body leaving me and flowing towards Sena. Convinced that my power was flowing into him, I continued to press my lips to his. I understood why Hibiki was reluctant to tell me how to bring Sena back. I felt the life in me being sucked out of my body. As if in answer, Sena's lips moved slightly. At the same time, I felt my body gradually going numb. Hearing the sound of my body collapse next to him, I knew my life had been spent. She said she collapsed, but as our lips slowly parted, Sena gazed at me confused.
Misa-chan.
I'm here, right next to you. Once he learned the truth, I knew Sena would be upset. Oh, it hurt my heart to think of him like that. Yet I hoped the love I poured out for him would ease his pain. This time I would be by his side forever. Oh, wait, that's not the end, right? This has only been 30 minutes. Oh my goodness, that's the end?
瞳に映り色が焦ってく優しい霊気に涙を見せないで触れられない届かないあなたのそばで救われる私は変わらないのですいつまでも続くようなこの時や優しさが時に悲しく心を揺らすのです見えるはずのなかった瞳の奥も少しずつ見つめることができるのだとどこまでも追ってくる不安や悲しみはありもしない現実を見せてくれる あなたに馳せる想いも足元に吹く風も変えられない出来事もあなたらしく全て変えられるわこの記憶がなくなってしまっても
Cannot believe how short his route was. I am like really disappointed actually. Because I loved Sena's route so much and they just didn't give him anything. Not near as much as they gave Kuroha and Hibiki. That chapter was 30 minutes, 35 minutes of recording. That's it. That was not a finale. Like, I would have recorded that yesterday if I knew it was only 30 minutes. I was expecting an hour and a half last chapter. And we got 30 minutes. Oh my goodness. Like, she didn't even get out of the world. That was kind of a disappointing confession too. Like, they were conveying that they loved each other throughout the whole time, so the confession felt kind of lackluster. She kissed him and his only words were Misa, and that was it. They didn't even, no words of love was exchanged or anything. That was it. And she's like, he's gonna be mad when he finds out. And goodbye, that's the end. Oh my goodness. All of his chapters are like less than an hour. Like, let me go to my videos. So 50 minutes, 56, like all less than an hour. Okay, well, chapter, what is this? It's a common route. So episode 21 was an hour and 20 minutes, but that was a common route. Every single one of his chapters, 6, 7, 8, 9, all less than an hour. Go find Hibiki's. Hibiki's was an hour and 15, 45 minutes, an hour, 51 minutes. His is kind of short too, I guess. Kuraha's is 58, 122 for whatever chapter this is. I think it's chapter 9. You see, Kuraha got an hour and 22 minute chapter 9. And then 54, and then his very first one or very second one, I don't know, I think his chapter 7 was almost 2 hours. 2 hours. But poor Sena got a 37-minute chapter 9. Whatever. I'll stop complaining. I really liked Sena's Route anyway. I like Sena as a character. I wish they could have had more time together, but they just didn't. So I'm really hoping that the endings come through for me as far as feeling satisfied with how things ended between them. They didn't get to be together like throughout most of this. And when they finally got together, like the whole time they were together, if you combine these 2 chapters, is only an hour and a half. That's all they got to be together in this whole route. Well, obviously, that's the end of this episode. So coming up next, I'm probably going to do a Shelby Snail bonus episodes. And then I'll try to get Sena's endings and a Christmas story done over the weekend. That's my goal. That's what I'm trying to do. And the Christmas story is probably going to be Impy. Because Impy's entertaining. And more entertaining than Van Helsing is anyway. Impy's just dramatic. And Van Helsing, he went from dramatic to sweet. Which is a good change as well. But I don't know. I just like Impy's dramaticness. Anyways, that's the end. If you guys enjoyed, drop a like down below and or subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.